you get fired for making fun of Puffy?
Yeah, by Hot 97. I had to fight a lawsuit. You know what it all came down to? They were
That's what
rappers and exposing.
Okay, y'all, grab your tea, because what Wendy Williams whispered about Diddy just seconds before her entire life took a jaw-dropping turn has us shaking. And no, it wasn't blasted on TMZ, and it definitely wasn't some random viral tweet. It was tucked away in a resurfaced interview, the kind that now has fans squinting hard, wondering, was this her warning shot? Because what followed? Oh honey, it was not just a scandal.
We come from a very horrible era of hip-hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such.
It was the kind of silence that screams, the kind of change that makes you ask, did someone make her disappear?
I think she's losing memory. Have you guys noticed that?
How dare him? I control men.
Anybody could look at her and tell this is not just alcohol. There's something more going on.
People are seriously starting to ask the terrifying question no one wants to say out loud: was Wendy Williams silenced? Let's rewind. By 2020, Wendy had stirred more pots than a Thanksgiving kitchen. She had fearlessly called out names, spilled celebrity dirt, and poked holes in the glossy masks of Hollywood. But the moment she touched Diddy, specifically, his past, his murky relationships, and that massive grip he had on the industry, everything shifted. That same year, Wendy's on-air vibe completely changed. She started slurring her words, couldn't stay focused, repeated herself. Viewers were confused. This wasn't the sharp, savage queen we knew.
I mean, I don't, and then,
At first, the official story: exhaustion, overwork, maybe even relapse. But behind the camera, whispers grew louder. People on set started noticing things that didn't feel right. Crew members said things were being covered up, allegedly. And when she fainted live on air during the Halloween show, dressed as the frickin' Statue of Liberty, producers said it was just heat exhaustion. Yeah, right.
Costume contest, we do it every year. It's always a lot of fun. Let's get started. Our first caress.
Fans weren't buying it, not for 1 second. Why? Because Wendy and Diddy have had bad blood for decades. Their beef goes all the way back to the 90s, when Wendy had the nerve, the audacity, to expose his alleged affairs, throw shade on his time at Uptown Records, and question his rise to power. While the rest of Hollywood played polite or flat out ran from Diddy, Wendy called him out. She mocked him. She practically dared him to come for her. She even dropped hints that he was hiding something way darker than anyone could imagine.
Did you get fired for making fun of Puffy?
Yeah, by Hot 97. I had to fight a lawsuit. You know what it all came down to? They were
rappers. That's what
rappers and exposing.
It was fearless, it was dangerous, and maybe it was fatal to her career. In 2021, Wendy disappeared from her own show. No warning, no goodbye, just gone. She was supposed to return, she never did. Instead, we got a revolving door of guest hosts, bizarre PR statements, and health issue excuses that made zero sense. Then came the money drama. In February 2022, her own bank, Wells Fargo, froze all her accounts. They said there were concerns about financial exploitation. Wait, what? Wendy clapped back hard, saying, "I've been asking questions about my own money. Suddenly, Lori Schiller is ghosting me." Suddenly, a so-called guardian was appointed, and just like that, Wendy couldn't access a single dollar of her own fortune. She wasn't allowed to talk about it. Interviews got cut off, statements disappeared. Any attempt to speak her truth? Silenced. And then came 2023, and the scariest reveal yet. A documentary team peeled back the curtain. What they uncovered? Devastating. Wendy had been isolated completely. No family, no friends. Even her son, Kevin Jr., was reportedly banned from seeing her. Her own child said, "I don't think the guardian is doing a good job protecting my mom." Who was in charge of her life? Not her day ones, not people she trusted. Nope, it was handlers. People with ties to the very industry Wendy had exposed for years, including, Diddy. Let's rewind a little more. Back in the 90s, Wendy called out Diddy for allegedly exploiting artists. She made not so subtle suggestions about his rumored relationships with male celebs, long before social media had the guts to do the same. Right after that, boom, Wendy was mysteriously fired from her radio job at Hot 97. No reason, just cut. Inside sources swore it was because Diddy made a call. And honestly, it wasn't the first time. In 2003, Wendy dropped Kim Porter's name and again made cryptic comments about Diddy's private world. Days later, another radio station accused Wendy of making stuff up. Her rep suddenly under attack, but she didn't back down. Then came the 2010. Diddy was reinventing himself, polished, corporate. Meanwhile, Wendy was flying high. Her daytime show was killing it. Her audience was huge. Her voice unstoppable. And guess what? She stopped talking about Diddy until 2020, and that's when everything crumbled. The 2024 documentary, Where is Wendy Williams, left fans absolutely shook. She didn't look like herself. Her voice was soft, her eyes distant. It was heartbreaking.
I think she's losing memory. Have you guys noticed that?
How dare him? I control men.
Anybody could look at her and tell this is not just alcohol. There's something more going on.
Confessed. She had no say in her medical care, no say in where she lived, no control over her own money. Her childhood best friend even said Wendy would sometimes go hours without food, alone, forgotten.
And she would call to order her breakfast at 7:30 in the morning with the Guardian, and she would take the order, and the order wouldn't show up until sometimes noon.
Plus, but the guardianship still in place. The team claimed Wendy had dementia, but here's the thing. No official diagnosis, no doctor ever went on record. Medical files were sealed tighter than Fort Knox. As the people managing her life, silent. Sound familiar? It's giving Britney Spears. But this wasn't a pop star with a Vegas gig. This was Wendy, the same woman who exposed this kind of Hollywood machinery. And now she was trapped inside it. Fans started piecing it together. They remembered the Diddy comments, the sudden collapse, the slurred speech, the isolation, and then came the whispers. Was this all intentional? There's a theory that's been floating around since 2021. A dark one fans can't stop talking about, that Wendy was poisoned. Yeah, poisoned. Why? Because she knew too much. She said too much. She was shaking too many tables, and they couldn't control her. She had already survived a messy divorce, fake friends, and career sabotage. So why did her body start breaking down right after she resurfaced old dirt on Diddy? It's not hard to connect the dots, especially when you know how Diddy reacts when someone threatens his empire.
You clearly feel that Sean Combs made people disappear.
I know this situation is dangerous. I've had several attempts on my life throughout my career.
During Diddy's ongoing legal battles, former Danity Kane member Don Richards straight up testified for the prosecution and said if he didn't get his way, people could go missing. Yes, missing. Prosecutors zeroed in on the racketeering charges, and when asked what Diddy meant by people going missing, Don didn't even blink. People could die. Let that sink in. And Wendy? She vanished for months right after talking about him. When she finally came back, she was a shell of who she was. Was she poisoned? We may never know. But what we do know is this. Wendy lost it all. Her show, her money, her voice, her freedom. And the one name that keeps swirling around every conspiracy, every whisper, every clue, Diddy. Wendy might not have come out and said it directly, but whatever she did say clearly struck a nerve. And in this industry, striking the wrong nerve can cost you everything. This isn't just a fall from fame, it's erasure. A woman who spent decades speaking truth to power was silenced in the most terrifying way imaginable. Wendy Williams didn't fade away. She was erased. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.